What's going on, guys?
Welcome back to the channel.
It's good to be back as always. So today we have our 2013 International DURASTAR. This thing is one of our delivery vehicles. It's having a lot of issues with some play in the front end. So we did some investigation and we figured out that the kingpins that go through the knuckle and hold it onto the whole, the whole vehicle are toast. So today we have the grace of doing some kingpins.
Changing kingpins today.
Changing kingpins today. So it should be a little bit more strenuous. It probably takes some persuasion with the sledgehammer to get some things out and to move, but we have our confidence. We're gonna bang through it, and as always, we're gonna kill it, right, Sis?
Always.
But we're gonna get this thing jacked up off the ground and get it supported and start getting the one side wheel off and really get right to it, guys. So let's get onto it. So first things first, obviously we are going to get this cap off and we're gonna get the fluid drained out of it.
Yeah, we're gonna drain all that gear oil out of there.
Oh yeah, that stuff's probably nasty.
We made this little sheet steel here so that we can drip right into our pan instead of all over our tire.
And then we naturally have less cleaning up to do. So we're gonna get that out, and we saw a video of a guy doing this and he took the drum off attached to the wheel still.
So we're gonna try to do that.
We're gonna try to do that because that looked a lot easier getting it onto the one part of the spindle instead of getting all the lug nuts and the studs lined up through the wheel. So we're gonna try it that way. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, we can always separate them after the fact. But we're gonna get right to it, start taking some things apart, get some fluids out.
Yep, and chug away.
Yeah, and we're gonna get real dirty again. So let's get to it.
Damn, when you always need an extension.
Always need an extension.
All right, well now that we got an extension, we can start taking this off. There's no oil in this one. It's greased. Way cleaner.
We don't need that.
So now that we got that cap off, we're gonna take some pliers, take out this pin, because behind this, this is basically locks the bolt that's behind this so it can't turn off. This will set your tension of your wheel on your bearing. So we'll pull these off and see if we can start separating the bearings and pull the wheel off. got this off. This thing is really loose. You're gonna be able to do it basically by hand. So what I like to do is I take a picture to make sure that I remember how many threads were sticking out.
All right, so wheel is off. And now we got the shoes exposed. So the brake shoes, we're gonna have to pull them apart. We're gonna have to separate all these bolts, pull this whole knuckle off. We still have a little bit to go.
Yeah, first we're gonna clean this grease off that this shaft right here, and then we'll spray it down with brake clean so our hands don't get too dirty.
Well, let's start cleaning.
All right, so now that we're all cleaned up, first things first is we're gonna disconnect this air line and this electrical sensor, because we gotta take this whole assembly off of the truck. So disconnecting this will make it so we're not in risk of snapping an air line, snapping an electrical line. And we did already let the air out of the system, so we're not worried about getting a big old in the face. Now we're gonna take these brakes off. So we got our pry bar, and we're gonna start pulling.
One way to do it. They're off.
If you're wondering, it's a 15-16. There's also a nut on the back.
Might need to hold that.
There it is. All right, so it's pretty dirty under this thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get it all cleaned off and then see how we gotta go about this. So next we gotta take off the tie rod end. We'll take out this cotter pin, take off this nut, and then what are we gonna do? We're gonna smack the ear. We're gonna smack the ear.
Yeah, you know, I see a lot of people who thread the nut back on and like whale the tie rod in itself, man. Just, you know, take it off completely and right here, smack this ear with a hammer and it will shock it right out. It's the most beautiful thing on the planet, and then you don't have, you know,
no new
destroyed
threads.
threads.
Apparently I'm a little bitch.
Welcome to the gun show, baby. Yeah. All right, so now that we got the tie rod out, we've got this and this. So there's a nut on this side, and this one's the opposite direction, so there's a nut over here. Those hold are like set screws to pretty much hold. They probably have notches in the kingpin that hold it from moving. And then there's this plate and the plate down here on the bottom that's exactly the same as up here. Once we get all those off, it's gonna start taking a lot of persuasion to get that kingpin out.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're gonna need a bigger hammer.
We're definitely gonna need a bigger hammer. So let's take all the things that are holding the kingpin off and start swinging away. I don't know why you think it's break time, buddy, but
Oh, what the fuck?
I don't think that's how you sit on the stool. So now that we have everything that holds the kingpin in place removed, we should be able to get it out of the spindle and the knuckle. So what we're gonna have to do is probably give it some persuasion. So this guy is in there.
Yeah, we're gonna need to smack the crap out of it.
So we're gonna get, one of us is gonna hold a hammer on the top of the pin, the other one's gonna have a sledgehammer, and we're gonna have to whack the crap out of it and try to get it out. So let's see what happens. All right, swing away, buddy. Whoop. Oh, shit.
Oh, all right.
That was easy. All right, well, let's get something a little longer and knock it the rest of the way out. Please don't hit my hand.
Here goes.
Yeah, all right.
There it is.
I like that.
Like that. Love that.
So, let's see if you can rip that off. That's it. There's a shim on top and a spacer on the bottom. That's important to know.
Definitely. All right, cool.
Cool. So, now that we have all the old stuff off, let's get all it cleaned up, get all the old grease off of it, and start putting the new stuff on. All right, so here are all the new parts laid out pretty much. So we've got new caps, we've got new spacers, new shims, we've got new set bolts, we've got new hardware for the caps that go on the top and bottom, new caps, we've got Zerk fittings, we've got it all. So we're gonna get this all settled out and start putting things back in. Alright guys, so they have these little races that are inside of these sheaths here. So we knocked the old ones out. It's pretty hard to do it without scoring up the sidewall a little bit, so we just filed down any imperfections and made sure it's nice and smooth so nothing gets caught up. But then we pressed in the new ones, so they're all flush and ready to go. So now we can lift this spindle up, we can bring it back over to that, we can work on getting the spacer and the shims in and try to get the kingpin back through. Let's get to it. All right, so we got the bearing here in place. We're just gonna find the right position, slide it over. We're gonna get it as lined up as possible, and then we'll do the rest with the new kingpin. So we finally got the kingpin through, settled. It fought us a lot, but so we did a lot off camera, but it's finally in and it's through. So now we put the set bolts back through. We're tightening them now, and then we can put the caps on and start putting everything right back together. So here we go.
So we're working on getting the brake shoes onto this. So what we got to do is to attach this spring, I got to adjust the slack adjusters so these get back into these little cups here. So what I'll end up doing is taking a screwdriver, opening the slack adjuster and cranking to release until those fall right in to place. Now I can get the spring in. So now I'll take out my phone, count those splines, and see how far I need to put this in.
So now that everything's back together, Anthony, of course, before undid the slack adjuster, so now that we have to redo the slack adjuster, so there's a little bit of drag between the pad and the rotor. So Anthony's gonna redo that now.
Just go in the opposite. We don't have to touch this that we had loosened with the screwdriver. Now that we're tightening the slack adjuster, you just go in the opposite direction and you actually feel it click. So we'll just keep going. It's gonna be a little bit. I'm gonna go down one click because it's a little tight, and then we should be right where we need to.
All right, so now that we got passenger side all wrapped up.
Yeah, we're just gonna start doing the same thing on the other side.
Yeah, we're gonna literally exact same process. Hopefully no holdups. So right back to it, guys. Let's get it. So now we got it down to the spindle. We got pretty much everything off. The only difference on this side is that we got steering box here. So what the steering box means, we have an arm that is comes over to the top of the knuckle here, where we don't have that on the other side. So we are gonna pull this cotter pin, take the bolt off, smack the ear,
Drop her out, and then once we get that kingpin out of there, she should slide right off.
That's it. So we'll pull that off and get right back to it now. Time to start whacking. We're really good at whacking. I dropped them all.
All the bolts.
right, guys. So that's pretty much it for this one. I mean,
Yeah.
it was pretty easy. The one thing that we did have to do that we didn't do on cam, just because we couldn't really get the tools we use close enough to the camera. It's just too much, too loud. So you have to remount the new bushings that go into the knuckle.
Yeah, and once they're mounted in, they're tighter than the actual kingpin itself, so you have to remount the hole. But when you get the new kingpin kit, it comes with a piece of paper that shows you the
Tolerance.
actual, the tolerance of it and the actual like amount that you need to ream out of the bushing.
Exactly. It gives you exact specs on how much to take out, how much should be left, how far to put them into the actual knuckle, and so like just like he said, they come obviously thicker than needed because you want them to be tight, but not tight enough that they can't move. So that's why they give you all the specs and everything.
And all the kits are like specific. So if you have one kit, it's a different measurement. If you have another kit, it's a different measurement. So you got to make sure.
Exactly. So per vehicle, per motor, per chassis, all differs. So so we're done for that one today. So Sis, you know the drill.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.
Let's go!